Disclaimer alert. This video contains a lot of dark content about suicide, addiction, loneliness, and depression. If you're triggered by any of these heavy topics, please click away from this video. You have been warned.
Hey going guys, Bubbleman here. No Longer Human on Ningen Shikaku is a novel written by Osamu Dazai. The story revolves around a man named Yozo Oba, which is loosely adapted from Osamu Dazai's life. Oba questions alienation and isolation in the human society and tries to deal with the complexity of the human mind. Due to clinical depression and anxiety, the narrator projects himself as a failure when describing the cruel world in a very friendly and casual way. This was translated back in 1958, so I reckon most of the words and phrases would be lost in translation, but no. The translator Donald Keane has done his best to translate directly from Japanese to English.
Words are weapons.
And Dazai tends to be very nitpicky about his words and how he uses them. But the difficult words are prominent throughout the book. At times you get the gist of what he's saying, but sometimes it just ruins the immersion when you have to pick up the dictionary mid-reading. The harrowing aspect of describing one's anguish and despair is written in the most friendly, conversational and polite manner. The prologue starts from a third-person perspective where the narrator finds 3 pictures and 3 notebooks. And then the story unfolds in a first-person perspective. This book gives you an understanding of life of the author and his psyche. Without sugarcoating, this is a very long suicide note, and it actually reads like one. More than a novel, this is a very long, dreadful story of a man who lives his life bunny hopping multiple women, being dependent on drugs and alcohol, and feeling unworthy leads Oba to attempt suicide multiple times. There are a lot of manga adaptations for this novel. I chose to read the one illustrated by none other than Junji Ito.
I'm too broke for this. I'll read it online.
Dazai alludes to some certain events without unfolding them,
And for a less perceptive reader like myself,
the manga can be useful. The mangaka visualizes depression and changes a few things, but still retains the essence of the story. Dazai's method of writing is implicit in the original novel, in contrast to Ito's explicit art, which amplifies the description of events. Talking about explicit, there are a lot of graphically illustrated sex scenes filled with lust, glamour, pain, and pleasure. Ito took many creative liberties to not only expand on the source, but also to make it more horrifying, violent, and sexual than one might ever interpret from reading the novel.
Ito creatively switches narrative at one point in the story which diverges from the source material without affecting the storyline. It immortalizes Oba on a predicament of what would have his life been if he never succeeded in taking his own life.
The first 4 episodes of Aoi Bungaku series adapts No Longer Human. It was made by Madhouse back in 2009. It was dark. No pun intended, but I had to turn off my blue light filter just to watch it properly. The dark, ominous ambience is portrayed eloquently. All the parts of the novel couldn't fit in perfectly, so the core elements are shown and the essence of novel is captured. Life gets harder as you age, and everyone struggles to live a normal life. I'm not a therapist, I'm just a regular guy. I do not recommend you read this book because it sticks to you like regret and keeps you thinking for a very long time. If you're sensitive to this type of material, please stay away. However, it might also help you if you're going through a tough time and feel like you can relate to something. It feels good to help people, but for serious topics like this, I don't have a definitive answer to that question. Sorry. And if you want to read this in a good headspace, please clean your room, do your laundry, pay your bills, tend to some unfinished business, and read it. If I have not nailed it to your head, media should not be underestimated. It can be very powerful and dangerous. Some songs just amplify your pain or pleasure when you're going through a heartbreak or falling in love. Like, you don't listen to Alanis Morissette when you're going through a breakup because it multiplies the pain and it makes it more devastating than ever. But for some people, it can help you go through it. So clear your mind if you want to read this obtrusive book properly. Thank you. Manga and anime have a lot of scenes, especially the manga. So if you're going to buy it physically, ensure that no one is around when you're indulging in these works. Some people might get their mitts on these pages and start to, you know, even if it's you, I'm not judging anyone here, but just be safe when reading this book. Just be aware. And that's it for the review. I know this video has been a long overdue. I plan to make it back in November or December, but a lot of things have happened, and I plan to make more videos. I know I always say that, but thank you for watching. Look at my pimple. I just felt like wearing something different. It's like hot as shit. Bye.